Well, good evening, everybody. I'm sat here, you can't see me, obviously. I'm sitting at the very top of the driveway, just outside the she shed. If I turn the camera round, you can see... that's my arm. Hang on. I'll just lift it and... So there's my goddess. Isn't she beautiful? So I'm just sat here by the goddess. And I'm just perching this camera on the arm of the chair. So hopefully it'll be okay. So, what I wanted to do was to do a little reading from my book, A Cottage and 3 Acres. But before I do that, I want to give you a little update on the bat. So, a lovely lady called Jill on Twitter guided me towards the bat helpline, I think it's called Batline, here in Ireland, part of the Conservation Council or something. But anyway, I went onto the website and got some excellent advice. And basically it was to put the bat safely into a cardboard box with some material in the box. So I got some nice dark material, and the bat would make its way into the material, which it did, and then to put the box at least 5 feet up from the ground, so as when sunset comes, the bat will be able to fly, because apparently it can't fly if it's left on the ground. So that was something I didn't know. So I feel very experienced now to deal with little bats that I find. It's the first time in 13 years that something like that has happened. In a way, I'm glad it has happened, because it's made me more aware of how to deal with a little bat. This was an adult bat, by the way, because it did have a nice furry coat. And I'm sure you'll agree from the 2 previous videos, or from the first video I put up, where you can see the bat. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I've never seen one up close up, before in real life. So I was quite delighted. So it's been a busy day for me. I've been doing lots of work inside. It's been very hot. This is the hottest day of the year. So, I'm going to read just skipping through this book now. Ah, yes. I'm actually going to read all of chapter 13 because it's a very short chapter and it's very pertinent for the months that's in it, because of course we're in the month of May, which is Bealtaine. And you'll know from Bealtaine Cottage that I take the very ancient spelling of Bealtaine, and it's not pronounced Beltane, it's actually pronounced Bealtaine. So it's Bealtaine. Anyway, not that that matters too much. I mean, lots of my friends say Beltane Cottage, and most of the time I do too. There's Jack drinking from the little water butt, look. Off you go, Jack. Come away from this camera. Okay. I'll just have a wee drink of water before I start. That's something else I've got to do. I'll do that in the morning, is go down to the Cottage well and get some big bottles of spring water. Okay. So this is the book. I'll hold it up in front of the camera. A Cottage and 3 Acres. This is the back of the book. And this is the chapter that I'm reading, which is chapter 13. The first day of summer in Celtic lands, Beltane falls on the 1st of May. It makes sense, really, when one thinks about it, for midsummer is the 21st of June. The days before the 21st grow longer, and those that follow on grow shorter. In the Celtic calendar, the year is divided into two parts, that of summer and winter. The ancient people knew more than we, especially when it came to observation of the night skies. At Bealtaine, the star cluster known as the Pleiades rises in the morning just before the sun. During the second half of the year, from the beginning of Samhain, when the year turns, the Pleiades rise at sunset. This little cluster of stars held importance in mapping out the Celtic calendar. Bealtaine and Samhain were therefore great feasts, Samhain marking the beginning of the new year. Festivals were marked as beginning either at twilight or dawn. These were the times when the veil between worlds was thinnest and crossover was possible. It was a border time, a time of possibilities. Fire was important in these festivals, and so they were also recognised as fire festivals. The rituals in both fire festivals are closely related, but both are mirror images of one another and hold opposing energies. Bealtaine holds a very particular magic, being that it is the beginning of the summer. As the days stretch into midnight here in the west of Ireland, the world of the Sidhe begins to open up. The Sidhe are generally referred to as the fairies and form quite a distinct race apart from the world of humans. They are the direct descendants of the Tuatha Dé Danann and live within the great mounds that are found all over Ireland, often referred to as the lordly ones. Their ancestry is noble indeed. Bealtaine Cottage is well placed, for it is very close to Slieve Éireann, known as the Iron Mountain, a magical landscape where Iron Age people once mined iron ore. It was here on the top of this mountain where the ancient people of the Tuatha Dé Danann first appeared. I can see the mountain from the front door of the cottage, looking towards the northeast of the land. It rises up from the long shore of Loch Allen. Slieve Éireann in Leitrim, Slieve Éireann, the mountain of the iron, from its richness in iron ore. Known as the people of the goddess Danu, the Tuatha Dé Danann were recorded in the Annals of the Four Masters, an ancient Irish manuscript, as ruling Ireland from 1897 BC to 1700 BC. It is said that they appeared out of a great mist atop Slieve Éireann, having burned the boats they had sailed in to prevent any going back. There is much written about the Sidhe, and these recordings are often contradictory, much like the Sidhe themselves. Living among the remnants of ancient tribes, as I do, here in the west of Ireland, watching skies with stars so bright they illuminate the night, it is easy to believe in the Sidhe, even revere them at times. Thus, the festival of Bealtaine is especially important to all that is Beltane Cottage. There comes a shift in perception when one's closest allies are the invisible forces of nature, as I believe the Sidhe to be. I have felt them close by, and even encountered one, albeit for all of a brief second or two. The manifestation was one of a tall warrior who appeared in the far end of the polytunnel. I had spent that afternoon and early evening moving huge stones from along a bank on the eastern edge of my land into the tunnel. I was using these stones to form an edge to the raised beds I was building in there. It was close to dusk, a time that falls more towards midnight than evening here in the west of Ireland. I looked up as I entered the tunnel, and there he was, looking as surprised at me as I at him. I turned and fled. We are reminded through old stories of the danger of moving stones from ancient sites, even though many of the ancient sites are unmarked on maps today. Whatever happened that evening at dusk incurred a shift in time and perception that is beyond my rational mind, yet it happened. My mother was staying with me at the time, and as I reluctantly recounted what had happened to her, she said that she wasn't at all surprised. Mother was a very intuitive, psychically in tune woman. There was Romany Gypsy in her ancestry, and she was most proud of that. At these times, when such explained phenomena occurs, it does so at a time when there appears to be a thinness in the air, a thinness that is quite tangible, a time when anything seems possible. Where does reality begin and end? What is actual and what is reflection? For much of it is coloured by perception, and somewhere deep down inside me lay a fear of moving stones on an ancient landscape, for stones represent timelessness and solidity. Many of Ireland's stone monuments are older than the pyramids of Egypt. Indeed, it is not just Ireland where these ancient stone monuments can be found, but all across the British Isles. There are some 40,000 ancient megalithic and Neolithic sites, including passage graves, stone circles, burial mounds and burial chambers. Newgrange is to be found in the Boyne Valley in the east of Ireland and is 5,200 years old. Yes, stones are of great significance in Ireland. If you would like to purchase the book, A Cottage on 3 Acres, the story of one woman's return to Ireland in her quest for Eden, you can do so by clicking on the link below. Okay, Jack? Ancient eyes. Ancient eyes. Little soul in there, eh, Jack? A little soul in there. Yes. It's interesting, you know, because the Celts believed in the transmigration of the soul. They never feared death, because life was circular. As soon as their mortal body died, their soul transmigrated into another living thing. Could even be a rock or a mountain or a stone, because they believed that everything was life. I think we could do well to listen to those voices across the millennia. We need to get back. We need to get back to the garden. Don't we, Jack? We need to get back to the garden.